Welcome back to Casting Confidential for our third season. I'm your host, Rose Rosen, and we've got such an exciting season ahead for you, filled with amazing guests, from top celebrities to some of the best casting directors in the business. Plus, we have a special surprise waiting for you at the end of each episode, so make sure you listen all the way through. I know you're gonna love it. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to thank our incredible sponsors who make this show possible: Casting Networks and Wright Positive Films. Their support helps us bring you the very best of the casting world every week. Looking to land your next big role? Casting Networks is where more high-quality roles are booked than any other casting service. With an annual membership, you'll unlock every tool you need to stand out. Unlimited headshots and reels, submission tracking, even the chance to link your socials and showcase your personal brand. On the go, the Casting Network's iOS app makes it easy to find and submit to roles anytime, anywhere. Right now, Casting Confidential listeners get $65 off an annual membership. Just use code CONFIDENTIAL at checkout or try it free for 14 days. Head to castingnetworks.com/confidential and get ready to get noticed. But hurry, this offer won't last long. I want to tell you about something that's truly changing the game for working actors. Shamika Wright, yes, a working actress and filmmaker with over 20 years of experience, is now offering exclusive one-on-one coaching through Wright Positive Films. And let me tell you, this isn't your average actor coaching. This is real-world audition to booking strategy, personal to you, and led by someone who actually gets what it takes. If you're getting callbacks but not bookings, or you're ready to own your next role, this is your next right move. Head to wrightpositive.com/book-online. That's WRIGHT positive.com/book-online and get ready to strengthen your acting skills in an authentic, empowering, and intentional way today. You'll thank yourself later, and maybe me too. Hey, actors. Need a reader but don't have anyone around? Or maybe your friend's on the way and you want to get a head start and run it a few times on your own? Check out RAFY, the app that scans your sides, lets you pick from over 60 voices to read with, and has an optional teleprompter built right in. It works in multiple languages, and there's a web version too if you prefer using your computer. Whether you're rehearsing, memorizing, or recording a self-tape, RAFY gives you the flexibility to do it all on your own time. Try it now at rafy.app. That's RAFY.app. And check the show notes for a 10% discount code. You'll thank me later. And with that, let's jump right into today's show.
Let's go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Casting Confidential, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on the audition room. I'm your host, Rose Rosen, and today's episode is a really special one. I am thrilled to be joined by Kimberly Skyrme, an incredible casting director whose work you know from House of Cards, Pelican Brief, and Ring of Kibo that just screened at the Cannes Film Market. Kimberly brings a sharp eye and a deep compassion to the process, and I can't wait for you to hear her insights. And our special guest today is comedian, actor, and all-around brilliant performer, Johnny Pemberton.
Hello.
Hey, Johnny. You have seen Johnny in Superstore, 21 Jump Street, Unplugging, and if you've heard his podcast, Live to Tape, you know his unique voice and comedic style. Johnny is here to talk about his journey in the audition room, his approach to creating characters, and how he's navigated a career that spans both mainstream and wonderfully weird projects. Stick around, because at the end of the episode, we'll have a Casting Confidential feedback session where a guest actor who won an Instagram contest will join us to read a scene opposite Johnny. You'll get to hear Kimberly and Johnny and myself give real-time feedback on the read. It's an invaluable window into how actors can grow and improve. Let's get into it. Yay, Johnny, this is so fun. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's so fun to meet you, and I am excited to hear about your audition stories. I think you've had a really unique past. Tell me a little bit about like when you first started auditioning. What were those early days like for you?
When I first started auditioning, I definitely didn't have any idea what I was doing. I really didn't. I think I remember back, and every time I think about this, it makes me just shivers at my spine and going to full. I cringe at it because I think that was one of the first auditions I ever had in Los Angeles. I asked, I think it was with Allison Jones. I asked her, should I look in the camera or look at you? And I just didn't know. I was,
It's a valid question, honestly.
yeah, it is a valid question, but also it's something
He was
that,
lovely, right?
yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been good for me to have known that, though. You know what I mean? Like to go in knowing that, as opposed to, yeah, I was, because I came from the like comedy world, so for me, acting was always like, it's like a separate thing. Even though I don't think they're that different now, but back then it was like those are very different things.
No, for
Well, I
sure.
think you mentioned a valid point there, though, that in the old days, everything was very much in a lane on its own, and now
Hmm.
things have definitely a little more fluid with each other.
Yeah.
That very valid because I mean, like we didn't like theater actors in film and TV. We didn't want, the commercial to bleed over.
Oh
None of
yeah.
it is all separated, but now it's all a big mishmash and we're
Right.
all doing everything. And I personally love it. You must. So you came from comedy
I
and
guess so. I mean, I was doing improv and stand up simultaneously. That's how I got started.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting. So
So
wait, wait, where
I'm sort of a bastard of
Which
that.
the improv thing, that's so great. I mean, that's, I think, what probably makes you so adept at just going with the flow. Anybody who's good at improv, even if you're bad at improv, I think it's great for your acting skills.
Oh yeah, I think it's invaluable. There's a lot of people who they just can't, they're so rigid and it shows sometimes.
yeah, no question. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Minnesota. That's where lived until I was about 18 when I went to college in Florida. So but I'm Minnesotan. But my mom was from Louisiana, so we spent a lot of time down there. So anytime I'd have to play a Southern character, I really felt like, I mean, I feel like that's definitely half of me, even though I grew up in the North.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, I think Minnesota is like the greatest place. I want to go there.
Oh,
Have you
it is
been?
wonderful. I've been. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. It can be in the summer for about a
Yes.
few weeks.
Winter?
Yeah. Way too cold. Yes, yes.
Hmm.
And where in Florida were you?
I was in Tallahassee
Oh my
at
gosh,
Florida
yes.
State University. Yeah.
It's the greatest college, right?
I mean, I don't know. It depends who you ask. Also depends what you want to do. You want to learn, or you want to have a good time.
Right. Well, definitely a good time place.
You said it, not me.
Have you ever deliberately made a bold or weird choice in an audition just to stand out? I'm telling you, Johnny, this is the number one question. Well, should I make a bold choice, a weird
Oh,
choice? And so I'm giving it to you, a working actor, to tell to our listeners. What's
I think that's pretty much all I ever do. I try to. I mean, yeah. There's one time. This just comes to mind, but there was some commercial audition. This is years ago, and they want you to dress up like a basketball player. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna dress up like a basketball player, because I don't have that stuff, and I don't want to do that. And I booked it because I was the only person who didn't look like a dumb basketball player.
Is that incredible? I mean,
Yeah,
I always feel for the actors because yeah, and that's why we do this. It's like they don't necessarily know what to do in any given
yeah,
circumstance, right? And we try and give them the path, but then they want to break free like you. And sometimes it works and then sometimes it
yeah.
doesn't. Remind me of a time where it didn't work for you.
Well, I don't know, probably every time that I've forgotten, because if I didn't book it, I totally forget about it. But also with that audition, though, I think I did something where it's a little trick I kind of learned where I pretend to hear something wrong and do the exact opposite of the direction. And I think what that does in a weird way is it forces the director. This time it was the director of the commercial. It forced him to be very specific with his direction as opposed to kind of general, because he was having to, I didn't understand it or I misheard it, and so he had to repeat himself. And usually people, when they say something a second time, they're much more, they know how to describe it better. And so I think that's a fun trick sometimes, is just, I mean, you don't have to do it like a trick, but I think it's the thing where you just make someone really double down on their explanation. And sometimes in saying that, that reveals a flaw in the explanation, or reveals something more that they want you to do. It gives you
What
something.
they're really looking for. I love that as a
Yeah.
tool. I don't think that's a trick. That's an amazing one.
Yeah.
And it obviously now is an opportunity, which I'm all on, giving them, ways to showcase your talent in an audition. And so you were showing that, oh, I can interpret that in this way. And then it's forcing their specificity to give you an opportunity to do something else. So it's also, I mean, it's a great tool to get to do another take.
Yeah, I'll do takes till the cows come home. I'm bad like that, but yeah.
For a self-tape, you'll like, what's the maximum amount you'll do for a self-tape?
You mean submit or record?
Record.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. That's one of those things. I think everyone I know, though, they'd be lying if they told you less than 15 or 20.
No.
I know
Really?
people who spend an
That's
entire day.
surprising to me.
Oh yeah, I know people spend an entire day making a self-tape. That's the problem, though. I mean, I think that's why this industry is in a rough place, because as actors and as casting directors, we love working together, and we don't get to do that anymore like we used to. And I think for me, that was like, it took me literally years to get over that. The fact that I feel like I lost a huge part of my life, because I actually like auditioning a lot. I really enjoy it. And so not being able to do that is just like it's just so devastating, because there's like such a, even I've had some of the greatest auditions in my life have been for things I didn't book.
Mhm.
And
That's
so
Oh,
it's like,
great.
So what's the strangest piece of direction you've ever gotten in the room?
gosh, strangest piece of direction? I don't even know. I mean, I forget everything.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like,
I could get that.
yeah, if it's unpleasant, I try to forget it.
Strange is
Um,
not unpleasant to you. I can't buy
Yeah. No, it's not. I guess that's what I'm saying, is it takes a lot. I don't think I've ever had anything that felt strange at all, because
because it's
it's,
nothing is strange to you.
yeah,
Yeah,
Shooting
I
Fallout.
suppose,
How could anything be more strange than Fallout?
yeah, that's kind of normal in a lot of ways. That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah. So you're not loving the self tapes. Can you tell us something you do like about the self tapes? Because clearly you want to be back in the
Yeah,
room
it's
like
certainly the
all
new
the other
normal.
actors, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I want to telegraph to the audience, like
The upside.
Yeah, the upside. What do you find is great?
I think I have a friend who's an actor who was a brilliant actor, and he has a taping business, and getting to like work with him, because he sees everything I don't, and he's so adept at it. He like is really good with using the space and like using how your relationship to the camera. So you get to craft a scene, which is nice, and it feels really good, because it feels like you just made something as opposed to submitted something. And so I think that's really nice, being able to do that. Yeah, I like being able to craft something in a way that a lot of times, even if you're really bold about it, you leave the room being like, you know what, that wasn't it. And so if you have the self-tape, you have a lot of time to really just beat it to death. I don't know. I mean, it goes both. It's like a classic case of going. It's what is it? There's two sides to every coin, or
Right.
a thousand metaphors, but just essentially, there's as much bad as there is as much good, and I think you can take that in either direction.
That's good. I can at least live with that. I mean, because here we are, self tapes are going to be That's it, right?
Yeah.
Either self-tapes or offer only. And I assume you're not quite, for the most of your things, offer only, right?
I've moved in that direction now,
That's good.
just
That's
because
good.
I find that the self tapes don't really work for me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a convers. Let's talk about that, because
Yeah.
I think actors don't know how to get to that spot and when it's right for them. So is that a conversation you have with your agent? What's the trajectory there?
I think it's really just project based, like what type of project it is, you know. Like if there's something where it's like I know the producers, I know some of the actors who are already cast. If I know like a lot of people involved with it, I don't think it makes,
Oh,
or
many
also if I
years.
know casting too, I don't think it makes sense to waste anyone's time with that type of thing. It's like, you guys know me. If you know what you're looking for, and you don't, you want to see me do it, then I'm not the person for you, because you know me well enough to know that I would, you know, you would offer it to me if it was something I was going to be right for. But sometimes it's
But
like you can tell they don't know what they were looking for, and so it's a chance to try something out and show them. But I just feel like, yeah, it's case by case, definitely.
but
I
which
mean,
I was going to lean into that piece of it, that when there is this, let's face it, we love people. We're in the business
Yeah,
'cause we like people. So people could easily just like you and want to see what you do with something. So in that way, are
right,
you like open to a self-tape because we would just want to showcase you in that role? I mean, as a casting director who tends to suggest people who are not what people are looking for, like in
right.
that case, they would say, well, I'd like to see him do it. So
I
then in
guess,
that way, would you want
yeah,
to
I
do
guess it just
self-tape?
depends on who I know and what capacity. Like I have a lot of friends who are directors, and so if I know someone who's directing a project, that's a little different, because they're the ones who are maybe making the final decision. But a lot of times, you know, with TV, a lot of times like the directors, they're not making a decision at all, hardly. So it's yeah, it just depends on what the project is, what the role is, and if I like it a lot, you know, if I really, yeah, I guess it's really case by case. But sometimes it's also just a thing where I would love to do this, but I don't have the time, or not so much the time, but the energy, because you know, as time goes on, I'm older, and it's harder and harder to get involved in something. So it's like sometimes if something is a small role that's asking a lot for me to carry a lot of weight for that, I'm like, I'm not interested in doing this, because I feel like I'm just being asked to be a mercenary to save your project, which I think is great, but that's not who I am right now. Maybe at a different point in time, I would be interested in that. But yeah, it's all just case by case, and what else I have going on at the time.
I love that fortitude and that direction. What brought you to such strong choices for your career? I think this is wonderful that that you do have this kind of direction and this vision.
I think it's just I guess I have really specific tastes. I don't like a lot of things. I really I kind of can't believe it how many things I just do not like to watch. I'm sure I like to watch a lot of bad movies. I really do. I remember hearing years ago that Stanley Kubrick used to watch bad movies. He would complain about the movie, and his wife, or he was like, "Why are you still watching it?" It's like, because I want to see it. And I always thought about that. I remember hearing that like a long time ago, like almost
Wow.
20 years ago, and thinking like, man, like why do I like watching bad movies so much? And I think you learn a lot from watching bad things, almost more than watching good things. And so I just love to pick apart acting. Like I love it. Like I've seen, there's huge actors who I've seen doing things. I'm like, he's moving his fingers right there. I can see it. He's nervous. You know, there's
Uh-huh.
all these tells that people have. They don't know they have. And I guess I don't know. I think things I like so much that I don't want to. I mean, for a long time, I was just terrible. I would say no to everything. I would make fun of. I would be like, why would you even ask me to do this? This is crap. I wouldn't want to be involved in this trash. Is it's just
Seems
terrible.
like a
And I
bad
was,
choice.
yeah, I was just, what's that?
Seems like a bad career choice to approach it exactly that way.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of things looking back. I'm like, I can't believe I got away with that. But yeah, I just have like, I don't know, I just know what I like. And if something is bad and I'm not interested in it, I'm going to be miserable to be involved with it because I've been there and I don't want to do that. I think it's
Which
just
I
as
think
simple as
that's
that.
great to share because there is certainly an inclination, I think, for actors to,
Hmm.
okay, but I just have to say yes. I just have to say yes. And
Right.
that isn't the case. We're creative collaborators together, and that's starting with the actor and casting, and then it's moving to the directors on set. So not being in love with it the whole time is really important. As somebody who also casts a lot of independent film,
Yeah.
that you're not only casting the talent, but you're casting the person who's spending time with
Right.
a director and a film crew that isn't a big Hollywood studio that has a ton of people. So an actor loving it is as important. That actor who loves it and maybe has a little less talent, so much more important than the actor who has more talent but doesn't like it.
Yeah. I
So I
mean,
thank you for just cutting that process off and letting people know not a good fit.
but
That's a great
also
Yeah.
sometimes
Right.
I think it's depends on my attitude in that particular day. So I can be sometimes I'll go through a period of like 6 months to a year where I'll audition for anything just to do it because I think yeah, it just depends on kind of where I am at that point in my life. But I've gone through both periods of time where I think if I'm busy with my own things, if I'm like writing and I'm working on other things, then I tend to be more open for um, to doing anything. But I don't know. It's all over the place. But something that's really bad, I'm just I get offended. I was even asked, and if it's, but then it's also the case where, some of the best scripts I've ever read became the worst movies I've ever seen, and
Mhm.
some of the greatest
That
projects
happens.
I've ever worked on were these terrible scripts that looked like they weren't even proofread, and they end up being great. And so it's this thing where, you know, everyone uh, everyone's wrong all the time,
Oh,
and
no
so
question. I
why wouldn't I be
remember,
wrong too?
I
Yeah, I was
remember
recently on a panel and somebody said, we're just making it up as we go along. So, and
that's
sometimes it
true.
works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I read the script for Edward Scissorhands, and Lord, it's so few words, which is
Uh,
not necessarily a bad thing. And I was so young, but I was like, wow, obviously I said yes, but eh, I didn't understand it, honestly.
right.
I was able to do the job and I think do it well.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you did a pretty good job. Yeah, I think it was pretty good.
yeah,
Good choices there.
it worked out, right? But
Yeah,
isn't that the entirety of all of our careers? It's a little bit about the choices you make. Like you can
yeah.
look back, clearly I think you're not a guy that like looks back too much and says, "Oh, I should have," which is wonderful. But I think a lot of us can do that and say, "Oh, I should have," or "Oh, I shouldn't have." How do you actualize that personally?
I don't know. It's changed over the years, but I think I told myself at some point, you just literally can't do it. You can't do it because it's so detrimental to think back upon something you cannot change. Maybe you learn from it, sure, but there's just so many things. I don't know. I just had some audition for it just the other day. My friend Josh Fadum is one of my best friends, a brilliant actor. He's one of the best actors alive, I feel like. But he told me what he did with it, and then I was like, I'm gonna try that. And I did it, and I looked at my tapes. I'm like, I didn't do that at all. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm like, how could I go into it thinking I'm gonna try to play it super small and simple, and then I didn't even do that. I'm like, it's because I just didn't spend enough time with the material, and I'm thinking like, I don't know, just like, and I'd already submitted it, It wasn't something I was super interested in anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's like I can't like think back on it because it's just there's no point to it.
So would it
It
be
doesn't
Well,
serve
it
completely
me.
is I
shocking
mean,
if
that is
you? Well, sorry, if you
I was
got
gonna say
that
that's a
role.
great approach because in the old days when you love being in the room, I mean, once you left before we were putting it on tape,
That's
that
it,
moment had passed.
Yeah.
right?
That's it. That was the ethereal moment and it's gone. So I
That's
think
it.
mentally it's a great way to be as an actor because the moment has passed and what
Yeah.
will be, and you just roll with it. But I think that's interesting that you felt like you were going to do one thing and then it wasn't. And what is that approach as you're preparing? I mean, you heard that your friend did this, but what is your normal process in going through preparing for an audition? Even if it's just a meeting, because maybe you're not auditioning for something because they like you, but they just want to meet you. Like, what is that preparation process for you? Because I think that's another stronghold that sometimes goes untouched by actors. More preparation could probably happen.
I think preparation is that's the big thing. All those big time theater actors and stuff, people I looked up to, who I studied and would love to work with, they prepare like crazy. They prepare like crazy. But I also think there's different types of preparation. Some people just learn the lines really well. I tend to be like, I like to write a lot of alternative dialogue for things. I do a lot of like, I'll extend a scene for a long time, like improvise. I'll let it keep going, like just button after button after button after button. I just keep going with it, and I think that helps me get into character. I mean, there's
You
so
work
many
with
things.
coaches?
Yeah, I work with coaches sometimes on certain things. Yeah. Uh,
Do you have an ongoing relationship with one particular coach over the years?
yeah, I've worked with, well, I guess with John Ennis quite a bit. I think John's amazing. I mean, he's such a great actor himself, and he's just got such a great energy. Because I'm like such a curmudgeon, and I don't
As a
know.
comedian, that is funny. It's always that dichotomy.
Oh yeah. I mean,
When not doing the stuff.
yeah. I mean, it kind of goes both ways. I just like it. Just depends. I guess I could say my mood is it moves. I'm very, you know, I'm a Gemini, whatever that means, So, but
My
sometimes
mother was a Gemini. That's a whole nother story, Johnny.
I can't even imagine. That's a whole other podcast.
That's another podcast. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like being a dictator of your own life kind of thing, You
Yes.
vacillate so much that it's hard to have anything consistent. So when you have a coach, like sometimes John is just so positive and so gets so excited about something. I'm like, wow, that's just really inspiring to have someone. That's what I think is the best thing about a coach is having someone get you excited and interested in the material. I just try to always tamp things down and try to make them less and smaller. Like I'm like the sort of if you want to not spend a lot of energy, I will find a way to do whatever it is with the least energy possible. So I think there's a lot of stuff where preparation is just the matter of getting dirty and getting like a big thing for me is what I do a lot is from preparing, I will do it really badly. I actually had a kind of a breakthrough years ago with this where I will do whatever the scene is, I'll do it just terribly. I'll do like a weird accent, like a character. If it's comedy, I'll make it super serious. If it's serious, I'll make it really funny. I'll just do it exactly how it's not supposed to be. And a lot of times, almost always, you'll find a little nugget in there that you can use in the right version of it.
Yes, which I always feel that's wonderful because you find, as you've talked about before with the Kubrick comment, that we find out a lot when things are not right. So I will always
Yeah.
do comedy rounds for dramas and drama rounds for comedy because you do find cool things there. And knowing what not to do is so important. So by the time you get to
Yeah.
the audition, that then we are seeing your best work because you've really fallen down. I always say fall down in class, fall down in
Yeah.
rehearsal, so you don't fall down in the audition room
And
or
it
on
lets you
set.
play too, because a lot of people refuse to play as actors. And it's really disheartening because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be an
Yes.
idiot. You're supposed to be like I think I heard Fellini say about actors, like he just loves actors because he likes to just watch them be themselves. And there's this idea where you're supposed to be professional, or you're supposed to be all these things, and like, no, you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to be the least professional of anyone on set. I mean, maybe you are professional
After you arrive,
beforehand.
of course,
Yeah,
on time.
but
Be on
once
time.
obviously be on time. You gotta be on time. You gotta be early. But
Thank you.
like you're supposed to be an idiot. You're supposed to be the dumbest person there who's floundering and like needs help and all that stuff. Because everyone on set is there to help you. You can't fail. They won't let you fail because you got to get this done. So if imbue your work with a sense of play, you are failing by doing that, which is like the biggest irony. But I think that's so true, and it's so unfortunate that so many people like just refuse to let something be, be crappy.
So what
Well,
do you,
the job is to be a storyteller and explore. So why wouldn't you try to explore character, explore tempo, explore, again, as you said, doing it the opposite of what it's supposed to be? Curiosity and exploration are two key words for an actor. And it feels like you are doing that all the time because you have fun with it.
I mean, personally, I love learning from failure. I think that's where our strength, our best knowledge comes from is how we fail, right? And is
Yeah.
it really failure? Yeah, we could another podcast about that, right?
Yeah.
Trial and error, not failure. Trial and
Yeah,
error.
no,
And
exactly.
if you don't die, it's not a failure, is it?
Right.
And then, what in comedy, you guys are killing it, right? So that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're dying up there. Telling you, there's so many death references. It's kind of ridiculous.
But it's actually in acting too. You don't have, he killed. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
funny. It's but that's all good things. So
Right.
yeah. So what do you want from somebody playing a scene with you? What's your greatest wish for the other person?
You mean what do I want from them?
Yeah, what do you want as a as a
Scene partner.
return? Yeah.
to be everything I'm not? I guess maybe. To
You want them to be serious? What are you talking about here?
it just depends. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of times the best relationships are complementary, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just listening is all. I don't think you can
Oh,
ask
I
for
love
anything more
that.
than listening. Because if you're listening, you're present and nothing can go wrong, and maybe to be prepared, but that sort of goes without saying. I mean, I've been in some situations where there's people who were hired who were literally not actors, and it's just, nothing can really do about that. They're just not supposed to be there. It was a mistake. But otherwise, you just want someone to be prepared enough to. You don't want to. I really want someone to not to end the scene because something's wrong. Like, just never stop. Like,
Right.
I always think you never know. You never know. Like, I remember hearing about how the best stuff that John Candy ever did was after the director called cut. He did a false cut because he knew that John was going to improvise at the end of the take. And so he told him, like I'm going to cut, but guys, keep rolling. Whenever I say cut, don't cut unless I say a special word version of it. And so there's just that. There's that whole thing where people, a lot of times, are so they're being seen, and the environment of a set is, some people have a lot of problem with this set because they find it to be very stressful and very like it's a lot of pressure stuff. And so when you're rolling, they have trouble throwing it away and relaxing and stuff. So I think it's like, as long as someone doesn't decide to end the scene before it needs to be ended, then I'm fine. Do whatever you want.
But I think if they were really listening, they wouldn't. I love that as a
Yeah.
note. I think that's really important, because if you are listening to your scene partner, it is all about the story, and you might have slightly changed something, which is taking the scene in an amazing direction. But if your scene partner doesn't listen to that tempo change or the tone of your voice, or,
Yeah.
that raised eyebrow, they're missing out on the story. And aren't we all here to tell the story? So that's a really
Yeah.
important note for people to hear. Listen, listen, listen. And I mean, really listen. Don't shake your head and listen. Listen with your ear so you can respond
Hard
accordingly.
though. It's hard to do that.
Mhm.
I've done a bunch of things where I was like, I'm not listening at all. I know I'm like, I'm not present, but
So when that happens, do you ask again? Like, could I do another take? I feel like I wasn't there 100%. Or do you just go, oh, well,
this was like a long time ago. It was on something where they didn't care. There's certain things where no, this isn't all art we're doing here. There's some stuff where this is like a big TV show that it's been on for a long time, and everyone's locked in, and they're not really looking for you to do anything more than say the words and in a way that makes sense and with your eyes open. And that a lot of times, but that's the thing though. That's why y'all are so important, is because a lot of times I feel like if you are just present and you say the words, you can't fail because you're the person.
Right. Right.
So if you get the right person, they can't make a mistake because they're who they are. I mean, obviously there's extenuating circumstances, but for the most part, if you get the right person for their job, they kind of can't fail. They can soar on their own volition, but they can't actually fail as long as because they got so many people to prop them up. Just if you just say the words, that's really good.
No, that's why when we find actors that we know their strengths, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
they'll, that's why we champion them. It's like, this is the guy. Johnny's your guy.
Right.
Let's
Right.
not talk any further. And then they'll go all the way around the block and then, well, show me 100 more. Okay, fine.
Right.
But Johnny's your guy and Johnny's your guy.
It's also the same
Like a
case
broken record.
yeah, or the other way too. That's why a lot of times you can't worry about these auditions because you could have done the greatest job of all time, but you're just not perfect. Your hair looks weird. You're not the person. I will forget
Well,
that.
and casting
you
a
know?
film or a TV show, it is an ensemble. So again, you may not just fit into that mix for
Yeah.
whatever reason, but I will double down and I'm sure Rose will agree. But if you were a standout, that's will remember you for the next one. So every audition is not a waste, whether you get the job or not, because you still showcase your talent and
Right.
we're filing that away for the next time.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
how I think that's how my career started. I think was from something I didn't get, and then later being brought in for something that was the right thing.
Do you
Perfect
remember who
fit.
that casting director
It was
was?
Meredith Tucker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And did she champion for you in a number of projects or?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know it was this one for sure for In the Loop was the one I got cast in. I think it was because I auditioned for Gentlemen Broncos before that. And
Yeah,
it was
we
a
have
lot
long
of
memory.
improv. Yeah.
You've got to keep an audition journal.
Too late.
Oh, it's never too late. You can start now.
Yeah, I'm telling
No,
you.
but it is certainly a great idea, especially nowadays, because you're not really in the room with people and you have this opportunity to do a lot of self-checking in
Yeah.
that preparation process. So it would be a good idea, I think, for
Well, I
actors.
Yeah.
research everybody. And anytime I have an audition, I look up everyone involved with it.
That's
I
smart.
can't believe that people don't do that. I feel like
Well, and
anytime
the
I have
fact
a,
that you can now, why wouldn't you?
yeah, because
Yeah.
there's so many, you learn so much from that. Even when I have a job, I look up all the actors I'm working with. Like the fact that people don't do that, I think is just insane. So stupid.
Do you ever
So
like
short-sighted.
independently call some of the other actors or you think that's intrusive?
Just depends. You mean if it's someone I know?
No, like let's say it's somebody you don't know, you're in a scene. Do you call them ahead? I've actually never asked this question. I
I mean
think
to like to run it or something?
yeah, whatever. Like
meet
yeah,
them.
to get
I mean,
to
if-
know them, to run the lines, whatever,
I suppose it depends on what it is. If we're working together a lot, I feel like we probably would be doing that anyways, just because everyone likes to hang out and get to know each other before they're working.
Yeah, but that's within the context of the work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I mean more like you should be familiar with all your scene partners before you're working with them because it's a matter of respect and
Yeah.
it's a matter of I don't know. I think it's just it's purely respect because you want to know. I don't know. There's just so many people where I just want to know something about them before I work with them. So many times I work with people, they're just like, who are you? I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Don't you have a
Yeah.
computer or something? Like, you have the internet? Like you're that doesn't come off as confident. It comes off as the opposite to me. And it
Right.
comes off as so disrespectful that it's like I just don't understand that. Yeah.
So
No,
if
I
you
agree
can
with you. I love
rewrite,
that you said
Oh.
that. That's such a great note to people that
Oh, it
to be respectful of just curating some information about someone is the right
Yeah.
thing to do. And in every other business, of course, before anybody would be going to a speaking engagement or something, you would do that. But somehow,
Mhm.
in film and TV, that there's different rules of engagement, and there really shouldn't be. I mean, it's a
Right.
human being, and you should know about them to have a great conversation, which could build on the relationship of the two
Right.
characters
Yeah,
that
because
you're
you
playing.
have a better relationship because of that, because
Mhm.
have a mutual respect, and I don't know. When I like something, I like it a lot, you know?
Mhm.
Like if someone was in like a show 10 years ago for one role, one scene, I'll be like, "Hey man, when you were in Generation Kill, I was like that was like so incredible to me." And because I think it also helps because I've been a series regular on shows, and you have guest stars come in, and it's hard to be a guest star because you're
Mhm.
stepping into someone else's world. And I think it's really
Right.
important to make them feel comfortable and feel like they're really good, and they're really like you're like, you know, you're here to help us. Because you sometimes you see people having trouble visiting a set because it's such a big, like with Fallout, it's such a big production, and we're shooting on film. It can be very daunting, I think, for people who aren't used to it. I know it was
Mhm.
daunting for me for the first 2 or 3 weeks. It was very like, wow, this is a big deal. And so I think you want to make people feel comfortable, and you want them to be like, it's just like the whole thing, like, "Oh, thank you for being here," but like more than just that, like you're like a lifeblood coming in here because you add all this diversity and fresh
Mhm.
blood to something, and yeah, I think it's important to like make those people feel really good because I've been a guest star so many times, and um, when that happened to me, I really appreciated it, and it made me do a better job.
I love that.
Oh,
Tell
nice.
me what this is so fascinating. I've enjoyed this. Tell me what some final thoughts you have to give to our listeners about acting, about the audition process, how to be a better comedian, maybe a better
Mm.
podcaster. I'm listening for that one. And what
Gosh,
what do you got for some final thoughts?
I don't know. I think it's just really just Um, yeah, I mean that play thing, I can't stress that enough. I think that I forget that a lot too, but just to have to throw things away and just, stomp on it and pick it up and just try things a bunch because the whole point of it is to play. And if you're not playing, then there's why are you doing this at all?
No, I love that. Kimberly, any final questions for Johnny before we go into our casting
The
confidential
speed round.
fact? The speed round.
I do. I always love the speed round. That's always very fun, to try to get everything out as fast as possible and still be articulate.
Yeah.
No, but it's just been such a treat because you have this very calm energy, and I love that you enjoy the research of it all and just very thoughtful. And you often play these very comedic, high energy roles. So it's really also wonderful. So I'm going to say if people are listening to this podcast, you should also now tune in and find it on video, just because it's so great to see this dichotomy of you just talking about craft and process. So it's more just a closing observation that it's always great to see that, having done some research for you about you, because we did have the offer only situation of Scissor Mouth with director Deborah Richards. So I'm really excited about that. So it was just great to get to know you more and then do research on the work and your comedy
Right,
and see how that worked for the deputy character. And so now
right.
just to interview you and get to know more, even better. It's even a bigger treat than
Hell yeah.
just the research.
I mean, good luck on
So
that project.
physicalizing stuff. I think that's another thing that people forget about. They forget
Mhm.
that you have a body, not just a voice. You got to move
Yes.
around and like do stuff and
They only have
fall on
this
the ground.
much on the
I
podcast. They
know
only have a head.
exactly.
Your podcast, you got the whole body, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah. It's just a fun thing to do. I just like, it's a nice excuse to talk to people.
Mhm.
No, absolutely.
Yes. Well, I do love the name of the podcast too, Live to Tape. It's just fun that it's
That's that's
homage to the old days.
that's one of its many names. It's also known as the Executive Buffet. It's known as Hands on the Branch. It's also known as Daddy's Big Red Truck. It has a lot of names.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
so great.
ridiculous.
All right, we're going to move into the Casting Confidential feedback session, my
Great.
favorite part of the show. I always look forward to this. We're bringing a guest actor who was selected through an Instagram contest. Follow Casting Confidential for more. They're going to be reading a scene against Johnny. And after the scene, we're all going to give her some feedback. And welcome, Bria Jackson from Philadelphia.
Hello.
Billy in
Hey,
the house.
y'all.
Billy in the
Y'all.
house. Thank you for coming and joining our crazy experiments.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So you guys have your scene?
I think I have it. I'm reading Spencer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Got it.
All right. What is it?
It's a pasta maker.
What am I supposed to do with the pasta maker?
I don't know, file your taxes. I know it seems like an extravagance, but it's, it's easy enough to use once you get the hang of it. Nothing quite like fresh pasta. You and Ryan deserve it.
It's really a lovely gesture, but we just can't use it.
Well, I'll come around. I can show you how to do it.
Oh, no, it's not the kind of help that we need.
I mean, Ryan hasn't said anything.
He wouldn't.
How bad is it?
There's nothing, it's not one big bad thing, but it adds up, you know?
I'm on a fixed income.
We know. We know. It's why we haven't asked.
Okay, I'm not saying I can't help.
Could you possibly talk to Ryan? Don't tell him I said anything, but try to get him talking at least.
Okay.
Can it make food silly?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. It makes anything with ends in an eye.
Okay, so we could keep going on, as he said earlier.
Right.
Roll with the
That
improv.
Kimberly, what'd you think of that?
Well, it's very fun. And it goes back to just in sitting and watching it that we probably should give the tip of like, what's the show? Because
It's
depending
important. Yeah.
what kind of comedy it is, is it something like Abbott Elementary, Modern Family, where they're having these dialogues, but there's the occasional, dealing with the documentarians, or is it just a straight up 3-camera comedy?
Right.
So it would be easier to give notes in that way, because this had a
So-
feel of Abbott Elementary to it that I felt like I was in on the joke as opposed to just observing. I felt like I was in on it because there was the occasional like ping to me. So depending what we were going for, that would be how I would dictate my notes,
So these are just sides written by Stage Milk.
which we love. We
Yes, yeah,
love.
we
They have good
love
scenes.
them. And there is no, because we're copyright sensitive.
Right.
These are just, they live on their own. So there is no backstory here. You have to take this as it is.
Do it.
And on that note, Kimberly, do you have some notes?
So my note would be, just because then I love to see what can we do with it if I give you a totally different note, that I would love to take it that maybe it's a little more serious, more of a dramedy, that you have a close relationship with this person because they're friends with Ryan. And so not intimate like you like each other, but much more intimate, like you're being a little more vulnerable.
Okay.
Just because that's another side of it, of what's going on. And so I just want to see what happens with that.
The description is that Spencer keeps dropping to the home of her son, Ryan. So I am a woman who has a son named Ryan who's married to Robin, right? That's
Yeah.
what it says.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are your notes on this, Johnny?
I mean, I think it's the context is everything, like you're saying. So it would be fun to try it that way. Also, it would be fun to try it where Spencer is a man and this is his son, because that makes the dynamic a little different, obviously. But it's still, Robin is Spencer's daughter-in-law, right?
Mhm.
So there's always that thing when you're talking to your daughter-in-law, there's always, you're not super close, so there's always a little bit of caginess. But there's also the thing
But
where
a familiarity.
yeah, familiarity, but there's a little, it's not quite the same as your son. And so that's also why I think that there could be a nice turn here because I'm being super nice and Robin's all obviously stressed out because they're having problems. I'm trying to help, but then it's like when I always try to look for like a turn, because every scene has a turn. So it's not the kind of help we need. I think that's when there's the turn because he's like, oh, okay, so it's bad, but it's worse than I thought. And that's when you're like, okay, so Robin's gonna tell me the truth about Ryan because Ryan won't say anything because Ryan's probably tight-lipped, who knows what he is, but Robin's probably the opposite of that. So I feel like, yeah, that's a nice moment for a turn there to show something different. If it's not going to
Love
be like a
that.
comedy,
That
Yeah.
sounds interesting. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
And
let's see it.
Yeah.
because it's like she's
We're here to
hiding something.
play.
Yeah, because it's always fun to have something where, if Robin's sort of hiding something and then it's like, she hints at it. It's not the kind of help we need. It's like, oh, okay, something like that maybe.
That's why I love this segment.
Cool.
You guys, let's see it again.
Here we go.
All right. What is it?
It's a pasta maker.
What am I supposed to do with the pasta maker?
File your taxes. Okay. I know it seems like an extravagance, but it's easy enough to use once you get the hang of it. Nothing quite like fresh pasta. You and Ryan deserve it too. It's just good.
Yeah, it's a really lovely gesture, but we just can't use it.
Well, then I'll come around. I can help you. I'll show you how to. I got one.
It's not the kind of help that we need.
Oh, yeah. Ryan hasn't said anything about.
He wouldn't.
How bad is it?
There's not like one big bad thing, but it adds up,
Yeah, I'm gonna fixed income.
Yeah, we know. It's why we haven't asked.
I'm not saying I can't help you. It's just that,
Well, could you possibly talk to Ryan and don't tell him I said anything, but try to get him talking at least? Can it make food silly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the one of the spirals.
No, it's the other one with the holes in it.
You people with the holes and the spirals. I actually love that. I thought, what I liked about it was the difference. Like, I would love to see both of those in front of me and say,
Like audition tapes, right?
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. This is why you guys bring it to us, and it makes it. I love it. I love it.
To the actor's note, you can't underestimate the intrigue of your choices. And by having two dramatically different ones, not being dramatic huge, but just dramatically different in comparison to each other, it gives us as casting the opportunity to send the one which is maybe leaning more towards what the director was looking for, because that we do know. So don't be busy trying to figure out what you think we want. Just give us something great, and then we're going to send forward what we think is going to sell you for the job.
How many versions?
Oh, did we send
Always love
forward?
2 for sure.
At least 2. Yeah. Sometimes I'll send 3.
What happens if someone sends you like 10 versions? What do you do?
Oh, I lose faith that you haven't made a choice for me.
Okay.
Right?
See, this is interesting. This is interesting. Now I'm asking the questions.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, I like this.
Ask away.
Because I told one my friends once, he was like, I'm gonna send 8 versions. I'm like, don't do that. There's too many.
No, I mean, that's just too many. Think if every actor sent 8.
Yeah.
No, that's the problem. It's like
we'd never cast a show. We would just be
a disrespect thing. It's like you can't. You're not respecting the process. You could do however many you do, and don't tell me about that. And send me your top 2 to 3 choices, and be done with it. And that's it. And you know, because as an actor, you have to make choices. As a business person, you have to make choices. It's
Well, I
all of
think
that,
this
isn't it?
Yeah, the same note applies. The directors and producers that are hiring casting, the reason we're this creative collaborator is to make discerning choices. So the actor needs to make the discerning choices to give us discerning choices. We discern from that to
Right.
send it now to
But-
the director who can also make discerning
Yeah.
choices.
And if you send me 10 choices and you're not Johnny Pemberton, because you could probably do 10 different choices,
Yeah.
but you're,
And they'd probably all be funny.
yeah,
and
they'd
dramatic.
probably
Like,
be
there'd be
different.
variety.
They'd be different. If you send me 10 choices, the likelihood of them being 10 different choices
pretty
is
low.
very, very
Yeah.
small. So if you give me 2 to 3 different choices, that's more than enough.
Nice.
Don't give me 1 though. I don't like 1.
Okay, here you heard it here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, do you
Yes, we
normally
both
send
agree.
in a
I would
couple?
prefer to have more than one.
I think I
Always.
send usually 2 or 3. I like to send 2 because that way it's like 2 as different as possible. But sometimes it's like I have sent 1 because I'm like, this is it. This is the
That's where you feel. See,
'Cause
but
it's
you
And I
sometimes
think
it's
if you
just
feel
the-
that confident as an actor,
Yeah.
then you absolutely should. Like, if you feel really good, then like go with the one that you're over the moon about.
or, confidence
I mean-
slash indifference.
And if you came in the room, you would have your one choice and we could say thank you. So you got to lead with your favorite for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
If you said thank you, I'd say I like to do it again.
And then I'm likely going to say yes. There's no question.
Yeah, I've never been turned away with a second request.
Yeah. I mean, but you also do get the thank you after the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And not everybody says, oh, can I do it again? Because also not everybody's prepared with the second uniquely different read.
Don't you think sometimes though the first one, for me, I mean back in the day, I would feel like the first one doesn't even count. It's like the first pancake. Honestly though, I would feel like the first one was just me just saying it in front of these people for the first time, and the second one is so much better. The first one's like doesn't even exist.
So yes and no, because certainly in self-tapes, that's just not true because you're front loading your favorite one.
Right. I'm talking about back in the day.
Back
Which
in the
I
day,
feel back in the day, I feel that once I got to number 6, like people had really hit their stride, which I
Yeah.
know is too many. It's why I was always behind. So thank you to all the actors listening who were always waiting in my waiting
Kimberly,
room.
stop
Well,
it.
because I mean, I studied acting myself. I understand. So you do
Yeah,
it. We
I
have a
couldn't stand
dialogue.
people
And then by
waiting.
number 6, we were like good to go. But
No, wow, that's crazy.
so I agree with you because those first ones, you're trying things out. It's like
Mhm.
you're,
Yeah.
it was rehearsal.
And I love the first one often. So I think it just depends.
Yeah, I
But-
think it all depends.
Yes. More
Well,
questions? for
sometimes if
us,
somebody's
Johnny?
in the zone, they would get it on number 1. And that was always the best one because it was just pure intuition for the scene.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So again,
I
it does
just-
happen.
Catch us next on live with tape.
But I think just to go back to one of the points that, because we're talking about now the auditions and how many takes and what you're sending, it really is a bad practice to get into doing 16 and 20 takes because on set, particularly as you brought up, Johnny, when you're the co-star, nobody is going to give you 16 takes. So if in your preparation, you're really only hitting your stride at 16, you better make sure then that you've done it 14 times in your dressing room
Mhm.
before you go on set to get number 15 and 16 so that your takes are great. Like the goal is that you want to be on set a one take wonder, like blow it out, just impress everybody. One or two. So this doing too many takes in your audition room, that you have at home
Yeah.
is really
We lose
not good
confidence.
practice because it means you haven't done the preparation that you talked about and all the things that are important. If you've done all the preparation, once you go to tape, live to tape, then you should be close to what it needs to be on set.
Yeah, or at
Alright.
least you have to be, prepared for the changes that will be, because it will be different there, very different.
Yes.
Very different. Well, my God, this was an incredible
So
hour.
great.
Thank you so much. Johnny, Kimberly, thank you so much. And Abria, thank you for coming on as
Nice
our
to meet
special
you.
guest. Yeah, that was
Likewise.
so great. And Johnny, tell me where people can follow your work.
You can find everything on my website, johnnypemberton.dog. I have links to
dog?
my
You're
dog.
so
Yeah,
funny.
I lost my name.com, and these guys squatted on it, and so they want to sell it back to me for like 20 grand. I'm not paying that.
No,
I
don't
had that
blame you.
happen with my casting one too. I was like, I'm not paying you that.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
Sorry.
there's scams everywhere.
but dog is better.
I love it.
dog.
Dog, it's
Yeah.
fun.
It's unique and fun. I love it.
Yeah, and you can see the trailer for my movie Mermaid that comes out in next year.
This
Great.
is wonderful.
Yeah, and
And
your
we'll
comedy
link-
shows are there and everything too. Just all your stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff. It's not
Yeah.
a whole lot, but yeah.
There's tons. All right, we'll link everything in the show notes. Thanks again for sharing your wisdom, Kimberly. And to our listeners, if you want a chance to be on a future Casting Confidential feedback session, follow us on Instagram at Casting Confidential and keep an eye out for our next casting calls. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed something, I don't know, just give us a review. Share it with your actor friends. And as always, keep showing up, keep surprising us, and keep doing all the work. Johnny, what a pleasure. Kimberly, as always. And Abria, mazel tov. You did a great job. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Casting Confidential. If you're loving the show, here's what you need to do. Follow us right now on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling inspired, take a minute to leave us a rating and review. It's the best way to help us grow and keep bringing you these behind the scenes stories. Join the conversation with us on Instagram at Casting Confidential and drop us your thoughts or questions. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your craft sharp and your audition sharper. See you back here for another episode of Casting Confidential.
One of the greatest podcasts in television and film with Rose Rosen, CSA, and all the friends. Bringing you Casting Confidential. Casting, that's essential. Casting, so eventful. Time to tune in to close friends, chilling with Rose. We call it Casting Confidential. Get a notepad ready, grab a pen and pencil. For magic to jot down, tell a friend too. A wonderful podcast on TV and film, we call it Casting Confidential. Let's go.